Hey guys, welcome to my channel. Today we are talking about it is done. It is done and the law of assumption. How can we work with that? You know, if you've been here before, that I am all about less is more. I really am. So I may not be for you, but you know, have a listen in any case. If you've come here and you've never been here before and you are really looking for more techniques, this is kind of a technique, but it's something that's going to propel you forwards and really help you in the long term with the law of attraction in general, with creating your own reality, manifesting and all of that. It's all the same thing, isn't it? I don't know why I'm listing it all separately, but just help you in general so that you don't feel like it's such hard work to manifest everything into your life, one particular thing after another. You are just better at this. So we all know that the law of assumption is a thing, don't we? We all know that whatever you assume to be true of someone shows back to you, is reflected back to you. But if somebody else then assumed different about that person, then that version of them would reflect back to them. So people see people differently. How you see someone will be different than how your friend sees them, if they know them, how your mum sees them, your sister, your brother, your dad. They will all have a different version of that person in their awareness, you know, in their reality. That person will be slightly different. So how do we work with the law of assumption in order to create that situation, in order to manifest that thing that's been eluding us for so long? Because we've tried technique after technique and we've affirmed and we're saying, but we're manifesting the opposite of what we're affirming. I'm not seeing what I'm affirming, or I'm not seeing what I'm manifesting. I get that loads. And I'm saying, well, you are getting what you're manifesting because you are manifesting what you are feeling. You are not manifesting what you want. You're not manifesting what you are intending, you are manifesting your feelings the whole time. So in order to get those feelings a bit more on track, I'm saying to you, you don't need to do much. You don't need to do anything. I don't do really anything these days because I know that I don't need to. And as soon as I start putting work in, I'm going to look for the results, because it's a natural thing that we do as human beings. We work hard, so where is the result? Otherwise, why are we bothering? So exactly, why are we bothering? So just know that you can step back. You do not have to go at this really, really heavy. You can just take a light touch with this. So, law of assumption, let's say you are wanting to get back with your ex, and let's say at the moment they are with someone else. So that seems huge, doesn't it? That seems like a huge circumstance. How are you going to get them away from that person? You don't even have to think about that. You don't have to think about them or that person, of what's going on with them, what's going on in their mind with them, or anything like that, what's going on in their relationship. It is completely irrelevant. As mind bendy as that is, it is true. So all you really have to do is intend, what do you want to experience? You want to be in a relationship with that person again. Let's not say XXX all the time. You want to be in a relationship with John. That's just random, by the way. It's just the first name that popped into my head. So you have intended that. I want to be in a relationship with them. So you're going about your day and then you get a thought pop into your mind, but what if they're really serious? Oh, what if he really has moved on and she's so much better than me? All of that stuff. And you say, no, it is done. That is temporary. Okay, I love that. I told a story before, which I won't go on about again, when I used to say that to myself when Jeremy was seeing someone else. Not while we were together or anything like that, it was before we got together, and I would just say it's temporary when it bugged me. But so you can say that in order to sort of solidify that, yes, it is temporary. But then you think about what you want and your intention, so you just give that a bit of focus and you say, it is done. I don't need to do anything else, it is done. And you keep using that phrase. So that is almost like your switch phrase, I guess, because you know I work with switch words. I love switch words. They're really helpful to people. They're a distraction and they're also instructing your subconscious, so they have a double whammy effect, really. So it is done. I don't need to do anything else, it is done. And that's what you do. This is your distraction. This is what you do, and say to yourself every time that bugging thought comes into your head, no, it is done. And your subconscious will take that on. Yes, I am manifesting that. That is what is done. You know, whatever, you don't have to use the phrase it is done, but I love the phrase it is done, because what more do you need to do? It is done. Now, I get that a lot of you that haven't been doing this as long as I have might want to do more than that. And if you feel good, and I would say if you are going to use affirmations, just say the odd one now and again. Don't parrot fashion say them, because that can cause real resistance, and it can muck up that vibration because you start getting that rational brain starts to interfere. And as soon as that happens, that vibration is messed up, that feeling is not pure and is not on point with what you want. But if you do feel the need to say affirmations, just say them every now and again when you're feeling good. Always when you're feeling good, never when you're feeling bad. Not to flip a mood. Don't say a vibration, don't say an affirmation to flip a mood, but do use "it is done," because you are solidifying that into fact. It is done. I don't need to do anything else. I've left this in the hands of the universe. It is done. I'm saying that a lot, aren't I? But it is done. I promise you, it is done. When you've intended it, it is done. Now, when we talk about blocks and we talk about things going on in our subconscious that are going to stop this from happening, there is not really any such thing as a block. We put a label on that because we're not seeing it. We decide we have blocks, so we call them blocks. And once we call something a block and we give it a label, you know what it's like? As soon as you give something a label, it becomes real, doesn't it? It's a thing, it's a block. It's not a block. No, it isn't to the universe. Now, let's say you kept doing this. It is done. It is done. Every time you've got that doubt feeling and that niggly thought, no, it is done. And you stuck to that, those things would drift away. They would dissolve away. They would not cause you an issue. They will not stop you from manifesting. The only thing that stops us is our attachment to the outcome and us thinking that those things are going to stop us, but we've got these blocks. No, we have put the label blocks. It's nothing. It does not exist. And by using the "it is done," like I said, naturally, you will just find yourself in more of a detached state and you will not consider those things. And when you don't consider those things, they then start to lose power. They don't have power to stop your manifestation. They don't. And then what will happen is you will get that manifestation and it will be much more on point or exactly on point, and you will think, would that have happened anyway? It will be so natural. I've done that on so many occasions. Things have happened, huge things have happened, and I have thought, would that have happened anyway? Because I did nothing. I literally did nothing for that. But that's why, and that's why it happens quicker. When we don't do so much, so let's ditch the phrase letting go. When you do loads of stuff in order to manifest, and you've been doing it, what happens is you are using your brain, your rational mind far too much, and it is interfering and it messes up that vibration. But when we don't do much, so when we start, let's call today day one. If you've been doing this for 6 months, for a year, don't worry about that and go, oh, I've been doing this for a year though. Let's call this day one. You are starting here, day one, and this is your new way. This is the way. And it's not about not, for me, it's about not doing anything, but I get that won't be for you, but it's minimal. Now, the less stuff you do, the less attached you will be naturally. So you won't do a load of stuff and then go, now I need to let go. And letting go will then not be a thing because you won't need to, because you've started differently. You are doing this, you are going with the flow more, definitely just easing yourself in, going with the flow, taking a light touch, not taking a heavy hand, and it will be so much easier, and you will naturally be in that state. You won't have to even think about letting go, because you won't be, yes, you will have some attachment there, that's natural. I have attachment there with everything that I want. It's never at zero, absolutely never at zero. If you haven't read my book, Degrees of Attachment, I don't want to do a huge salesy bit here, but it really talks about how you don't need to be 100% detached, and what attachment is and what different degrees of attachment there are and what will hold you back and what won't, and all of that. So hopefully that will be really useful to you, because it does break it down. And attachment is, even the words aren't great, are they? Attachment, letting go, and all of that are not the best words. So we just need to get into that state of allowing, and the less you do, the more naturally you will be in that state of allowing. So work with the law of assumption, but work with it much more generally like that. If you struggle with resistance, but if you don't struggle with resistance and you'll find I like this law of assumption thing, I really like this, because I know people that do and are working with it at the moment, and really can just go with a specific person, no, it's done, we're together, and all of that, and they are not struggling with it. So if you can do that as well, add that in there, but you don't have to. If you can stick with the "it is done," then it is done. What more do you need to do? You don't need to do anything more than that. And like I said, if you feel the need to say an affirmation, then sure, go with your own feelings about this, because we are all individual, we are all unique where this stuff is concerned, but just don't repeat them parrot fashion. Sit down. If you're sitting down having a cup of coffee, reading a magazine, say it a couple of times to yourself, make a statement just a couple of times, because then you are getting that pure vibration that goes with that, and you are not messing it up. Your rational mind doesn't have time to step in there and talk to you, and sort of, even if it doesn't talk to you, it can be there and it's sort of niggling in the background, isn't it? If you just keep it short like that, that won't happen. So that will be, again, that's all a light touch, isn't it? And with me, it's all about the light touch. It really is. And I say that from experience, and I say that because I learned the hard way. Believe me, I really did. Everything I talk about is my own experience and the way that I have used this and found it so much easier. I still wonder whether something's going to come. I do, because that's natural and that's human nature, but I don't care that I do that. And that's my rational mind, my analytical mind. You can't shut it up. You just don't engage with it and don't water those thoughts as much as possible. You just shift your focus, whatever it takes, really. And saying it is done is a great way of shifting your focus, but also solidifying it as fact into your subconscious. It's done. I do not need to do anything else. Right. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, then I would love you to do that. My books are listed below, and I also offer Zoom coaching. Anyway, my son's channel is listed at the end too, and he's just 10 away from 2K now, which is awesome. He's catching up with me. I'm sure he'll overtake me before long. And well, thanks for watching.